Food Safety and Standards Authority of India (FSSAI) is the regulatory body for providing nutraceutical manufacturing license in India. So, if you want to start manufacturing nutraceutical products, you need to apply for FSSAI license. Apply now for the FSSAI license with mindsync. We will help you to get your approval right away.
Hello and welcome to mindsync. I am Swati from mindsync. mindsync is a professional organization providing compliance, consulting, and advisory services. In this video, we will discuss about the GST applicability as per Legal Metrology Act 2009 on all pre-packaged and pre-labeled food items, grains, etc. On July 18, 2022, the GST Council proposed GST at a rate of 5% on food items that meet the criteria of pre-packaged and pre-labeled commodities under the Legal Metrology Act 2009. mindsync is going to first give you some fundamental explanations and then provide answers to the general queries to resolve the issues from the perspectives of manufacturers, wholesalers, distributors, retailers. So do watch the video till the end to get clarity with the new GST norms. On June 28 and 29 of 2022, the Union Finance Minister presided over the 47th meeting of the GST Council, in which it was decided to raise taxes on a number of goods and services starting from July 18, 2022. One such major outcome was that GST was only charged on certain products when they bear a registered brand or a brand for which a claim or an enforceable right is available in a court of law. But from now onwards, GST will be imposed on such goods like cereals, pulses, flours, specified food items, etc., when they are pre-packaged and pre-labeled, irrespective of whether they are branded or non-branded. Earlier scenario under GST regime for branded products was that, in cases where ownership of the goods was not relinquished, that is transferred, GST was charged on branded goods. And for unbranded goods, the scenario was different. GST was not applicable to unbranded goods. Unbranded goods were not liable to GST if disclaimer to forego any actionable claim was given. Pre-packaging and labeling were irrelevant for the purpose of imposing GST. Key changes related to food products proposed are: the concept of branding has been fully removed. Tax liability would arise if the goods being supplied are pre-packaged and labeled as per the provisions of Legal Metrology Act. Branded or unbranded status of the commodity will not affect the taxability from now onwards. For example, items like pulses, cereals like rice, wheat and flour, that is atta, etc., earlier attracted GST at the rate of 5% when branded. With effect from 18 July 2022, these items would attract GST when pre-packaged and labeled. Following specified food items like natural honey, grains such as rice, wheat, bajra including pre-packed, pre-labeled curd, lassi, and buttermilk will now be charged GST at the rate of 5% from the 18th of July 2022, whether branded or unbranded. At this point, it is important to refer Clause L of Section 2 of the Legal Metrology Act 2009, which defines pre-packaged commodity as a commodity which, without the purchaser being present, is placed in a package of whatever nature, whether sealed or not, so that the product contained therein has a predetermined quantity. From above, it is possible to conclude that a product, when it has been packed in advance, before the customer arrive, whether or not it has been sealed, will be considered as pre-packaged commodity. Additionally, the amendment notification imposed the requirement that the package shall include a declaration in accordance with the Legal Metrology Act. Therefore, we need to refer Clause F of Section 2 of Legal Metrology Act, 2009, for the definition of label, which means any written, marked, stamped, printed, or graphic matter affixed to or appearing upon any prepackaged commodity. As per Rule 3 of Legal Metrology Rules, 2011, the provisions applicable to packages intended for retail sale shall not apply to following cases: packages of commodities containing quantity of more than 25 kg or 25 liter, cement, fertilizer, and agricultural farm produce, and sold in bags above 50 kg, and packaged commodities meant for industrial consumers or institutional consumers. Legal metrology rules define industrial and institutional consumers as: industrial consumer means the consumer who buys packaged commodities directly from the manufacturer, or from an importer, or from wholesale dealer, for use by that industry, and the package shall have declaration, not for retail sale. Institutional consumer means the institution which buys packaged commodities bearing a declaration, not for retail sale, directly from the manufacturer, or from an importer, or from wholesale dealer, for use by that institution, and not for commercial or trade purposes. GST will be applicable if following two conditions are fulfilled: the product is a prepackaged commodity, and the prepackaged commodity is required to bear the declarations under the provisions of the Legal Metrology Act, 2009, and the rules made thereunder. We have tabulated for you to understand on which commodities GST will be charged. For example, items prepackaged and labeled, where weight is 25 kg or less than 25 kg is taxable, and where item is prepackaged and labeled of more than 25 kg weight, is exempted from charging GST. MindSync will give you a list of commodities that are taxable only if sold in prepackaged and labeled form as per legal metrology rules. Products like oats, barley, natural honey, chena or paneer, puffed rice, flattened or beaten rice, etc., will now be charged with GST from the 18th of July 2022. Clarification and a few FAQs, dated on July 17, 2022, were released by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs (CBIC) in response to any misinterpretation. Clarification was requested regarding modifications made to packed and labeled goods beginning on July 18, 2022. Some of the rising difficulties have been reduced by this clarification. We will be discussing some of the FAQ. The first question was, what change has been made with respect to packaged and labeled commodity with effect from the 18th of July 2022? Prior to 18th of July 2022, GST applied on specified goods when they were put up in a unit container and were bearing a registered brand name or were bearing brand name in respect of which an actionable claim or enforceable right in a court of law is available. With effect from the 18th of July 2022, this provision undergoes a change, and GST has been made applicable on supply of such pre-packaged and labeled commodities, attracting the provisions of Legal Metrology Act. Essentially, this is a change in modalities of imposition of GST on branded specified goods to pre-packaged and labeled specified goods. Whether GST would apply to a package that contains multiple retail packages. For example, a package containing 10 retail packs of flour of 10 kg each. The answer is yes, if several packages intended for retail sale to ultimate consumer, say 10 packages of 10 kg each, are sold in a larger pack, then GST would apply to such supply. Such package may be sold by a manufacturer through distributor. These individual packs of 10 kg each are meant for eventual sale to retail consumer. However, a package of say rice containing 50 kg in one individual package would not be considered a pre-packaged and labeled commodity for the purpose of GST levy. Even if Rule 24 of Legal Metrology, Packaged Commodities Rules, 2011, mandates certain declarations to be made on such wholesale package. Next, if X is a rice miller who sells packages containing 20 kg rice, but not making the required declaration under Legal Metrology Act, and the rules made thereunder, although the said Act and the rules requires him to make a declaration, would it still be considered as pre-packaged unlabeled, and therefore be liable to GST? It will be, yes, such packages would be considered as pre-packaged unlabeled commodity, for the purposes of GST, as it requires making a declaration under the Legal Metrology Packaged Commodities Rules, 2011. Hence, miller X would be required to pay GST on supply of such package. There is a list of some of basic questions that the industry should take into account while conducting their business. Let's discuss each one in detail. Suppose if you have been charging GST on branded goods sold in packaging of more than 25 kg, whether sale of such goods have become exempted now. Yes, if the weight is above 25 kg, there is no GST liability on the sale of such goods, even if the goods are sold under your brand name. Next, if Mr. X has unregistered his brand for availing the exemption under the GST law, however he only sell packages more than 25 kg, so, can he now re-register his brand? The answer is yes, as in terms of the new taxation scheme, packages above 25 kg are not taxable, even if they are branded. Therefore, the brand could be re-registered. Will GST liability would arise on direct sale to end consumer only, or even if goods are supplied through wholesalers or distributor? Liability is not determined based on nature of customers. There would be tax liability irrespective of any stage or nature of customer. If you are manufacturing paneer in a packets of 500 grams, do you still need to charge GST on such packets if the total quantity given to the consumer in a packet is greater than 25 kg? It will be yes, GST is applicable in cases where several small packages are given in a large package weighing more than 25 kg. These packages must be pre-packaged and labeled. However, there is no GST liability on the complete package if each small packet is in loose form, maybe in a transparent pack. In this situation, the total weight of the secondary or wholesale package won't make any difference. Now suppose you are buying natural honey in 30-liter packets from the villages, but bottle it in 200 grams package. Whether GST is applicable on such bottling? The answer will be, the purchase of bulk honey are exempt from GST. The sale of such retail packs would be subject to GST after it is converted to small packaging in pre-packaged and labeled form in accordance with legal metrology rules. Buy one, get one free, 10 kg free, with 20 kg, and other marketing schemes and promotions are available in the market. Whether the revised provisions in GST would have any effects on these schemes? The response of the query is that the taxability of the goods supplied under the scheme would depend on a number of factors, such as whether the supply is composite or mixed, whether the consideration charged includes all the goods supplied, or only some of them are given for free, whether the total weight is less than or equal to 25 kg, the status of the packaging, etc. Taking into account each of these elements will allow for an appropriate assessment of the GST tax liability and input tax credit impact. if the standard weight of commodity supplied by you is 30 kgs. However, you are importing new machines, wherein GST charged is huge. Can you split your packets into 2 bags, so that your commodity becomes taxable, and benefit of such GST charged could be taken? As the supplier of goods in pre-packaged and labeled condition would now be liable to GST, you could avail the benefit of GST charged on such machine. Can you sell the goods in retail without pre-packaging and labeling and remain out of GST? Yes, the goods may be sold by manufacturer without pre-packaging and labeling, and there is no GST liability in such cases. However, regardless of whether a declaration is made in accordance with legal metrology rules, you would be required to charge GST if items had to be pre-packaged and labeled as per the legal metrology rules. By not making declaration, there would be violation of law under both the acts. Earlier, the standard weight of commodity supplied by you was 25 kg. Can you increase the weight to 26 kg and remain out of GST? The solution to this is given in GST law, which says that nothing in the GST law prevents you from increasing weight over 25 kg. As a result, the sale of such an increased weight package would not be subject to GST. But any compliance with legal metrology rules about a change in weight must be complied with. Is it necessary that the goods should bear not for retail sale if they are supplied to industrial or institutional consumers? As the definition of an industrial or institutional consumer under legal metrology rules particularly allows for the use of the term not for retail sale. Any commodity that simply has this declaration would be considered a supply to an industrial or institutional consumer and will not be liable to GST. However, if any industrial or institutional consumer purchases any goods from a supplier that are pre-packaged and labeled but do not contain the term not for retail sale, the sale of those goods to that consumer will be subject to GST, even if it is only for internal use by such consumers. Next, if you are a wholesaler, how would you determine that the goods being supplied by you are liable or not liable to GST when such goods are supplied to industrial or institutional consumer? As stated above, if the goods supplied by you as wholesalers should bear the declaration not for retail sales, there would not be any GST liability. However, if the goods being supplied does not have the term not for retail sale, there would be GST liability on sale of such pre-packaged and labeled goods in less than 25 kg packs, even if supplied to industrial or institutional consumers. Now it becomes easy for you to draw a conclusion that a pre-packaged and pre-labeled food items, grains, etc. are taxable at 5% GST rate. The term brand will covers both registered and unregistered brands for the levy of GST. Only pre-packaged and pre-labeled food items of less than 25 kg or 25 litre will be taxable, and packing of 25 kg or 25 litre or more items meant for industrial consumers and institutional consumers will not attract provisions of Legal Metrology Rules, 2011. MindSync will assist you with respect to all the latest guidelines related to legal metrology rules or any new amendments in GST. If you require any support for any type of registration and license, contact MindSync. We will be happy to help you. Link given in the description box for more such videos. Stay tuned with MindSync. Thank you.